That's a good view, isn't it? Where do you think we are? Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Before we start, I would like to thank everybody who's bought me a coffee. It really helps to support the channel. It's really great. And if you want to buy a coffee, please go to this description box below and click the link. And subscribe and like and share and ring the bell and all those things, please. Okay, thanks a lot. So I'm going to try and do a November/December update for you, but it's not easy because the Thai authorities are constantly changing their minds on everything regarding COVID. There was that shambolic start to the special tourist visa STV, where not even one Chinese tourist even applied to get a visa. And the plane load of Chinese tourists that were supposed to arrive in Phuket last month never materialized. Now we have a 60-day supposed tourist visa available, but it has exactly the same restrictions as the STV. You need a mountain of paperwork, multiple COVID tests, fit to fly certificate, certificate of entry, $100,000 COVID insurance, and you have to do 14 days quarantine in a very, very expensive approved hotel. And some embassies are actually asking you to see your bank account to see if you have about $800 in your bank. I mean, who would come to Thailand if they didn't have that? No normal tourist is ever going to jump through hoops like that. It's absurd. So it's not a tourist visa at all. It's just a way to get business investors into Thailand, in my opinion. And then there's these constant changes of mind. They said last week that they were going to reduce the quarantine from 14 to 10 days. And then 3 days later, they changed their minds and said, oh, no, we don't mean that. We now have to put it back to 14 days for the foreseeable future. And to be honest, you guys would not accept even 1 day's quarantine if you're a genuine tourist. I know that. And the whole lot is complete nonsense, in my opinion. They also announced recently that some of these approved quarantine hotels are in Pattaya. And that's when I thought, what do you think might happen there? You think a backhander to the night security guard might organise a little visitor for the night? What do you think? Because I know Thailand. I know what happens with backhanders, security guards and what have you. You know as well, I'm sure. So how long do you think these restrictions will go on for? The Thai authorities just announced that the current emergency decree, which has been in place since March, has been extended for the 8th time, well into the beginning of 2021, and will probably be extended further later. But I have noticed that there's one dominant theme which is running through the whole of this reopening saga, and that is money. Let's take some examples. When they announced the STV, they said that people had to come by charter flight, but if you happen to own your own private jet, that would be acceptable. Then later they went on to say arrivals by passenger ship would not be acceptable unless you happen to own your own private yacht, in which case that would be acceptable. Also, holders of the very expensive elite visa have been allowed to come, although the ones in the lower tier levels have had some problems. And then they've just announced very recently that for holders of the top tier elite visas only who want to open a business here and want to apply for a work permit will be allowed to have the work permit if they are willing to invest in a Thai business in Thailand, 1 million US dollars, not baht, US dollars, for a period of at least 5 years. Then you can come into Thailand. And they also recently announced a possible travel bubble with 22 Chinese, yes, that's what I said, Chinese cities who have been COVID-free for the last 150 days. And these Chinese tourists would arrive in groups of 100, and they would stay in controlled groups in controlled hotels and only go out all together with a Chinese guide to only pre-organized destinations. There will be no interaction with any normal Thai people, so obviously they won't be spending money. And there may be, because of that, there may be no quarantine needed, but that hasn't been decided yet. So why on earth would they start with the Chinese? Well, for a start, there's millions of them. And secondly, unlike us Westerners, who get a free visa exemption stamp when we enter Thailand, every single Chinese tourist who enters Thailand has to pay the Thai authorities about 3,000 baht for a tourist visa. Do you think that could have something to do with it? And then there was a recent survey done of Thai people who over half of them said that they didn't want the country reopened unless there was a vaccine. So, about this vaccine. Pfizer in the US just announced that they were doing phase 3 trials and may have a vaccine early in 2021. But there's a major problem with the distribution, as it must be kept at all times at a temperature of negative 94, that's 94 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 70 degrees Celsius. If it goes above that temperature at any time for any length of time, it becomes totally ineffective. How you would know it was ineffective if that had happened, nobody seems to be able to answer that one. So that vaccine doesn't look very promising, does it, as it stands at the moment? So where does this all leave us? Well, in my opinion, it seems that the Thai authorities have got their minds firmly fixed on the very wealthy. Certainly for the first few months. And they really don't seem to want the backpacker crowd or the individual cheap Charlie tourist back anytime soon. Have you also noticed that they're keeping the value of the baht very high? Because that encourages foreign investment, but it also discourages cheap tourism. From what I can make out, it seems it'll be many months into 2021 before individuals will be able to come into Thailand as before with no restrictions or quarantine, except perhaps maybe they'll need a vaccination certificate. I hope I'm wrong, but that's the way it's looking. If you think about it, it's now nearly 9 months since all this started, and nothing really has changed. There's been no progress. Tell me what you think, guys, in the comments below, like you did before. Just tell me what your opinions are on all of this. I mean, I know there are lots of you out there who really want to get back here. I mean, you have friends that you want to come back to visit, as always, every few months, and you can't do it. Anyway, guys, if you like the video, please like and subscribe and share and ring the notification bell, and I shall see you in the next video, and thank you very much for watching.